Translation and purport by His Divine Grace by Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent, and angry, and who is a separatist, is considered to be in the mode of darkness. Translation with repetition. Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent, and angry, and who is a separatist, is considered to be in the mode of darkness. Perfect. It has already been stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, that the highest, most glorious religion is the attainment of causeless, unmotivated devotional service. In pure devotional service, the only motive should be to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is not actually a motive, that is the pure condition of the living entity. In the conditioned stage, when one engages in devotional service, he should follow the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master in full surrender. The spiritual master is the manifested representation of the Supreme Lord because he receives and presents the instructions of the Lord as they are by disciplic succession. It is described in Bhagavad Gita that the teachings therein should be received by disciplic succession, otherwise there is adulteration. To act under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master with a motive to satisfy the Supreme Personality of God is pure devotional service. But if one has a motive for personal gratification, his devotional service is manifested differently. Such a man may be violent, proud, envious, and angry, and his interests are separate from the Lord's. One who approaches the Supreme Lord to render devotional service, but who is proud of his personality, envious of others, or vengeful, is in the mode of anger. He thinks that he is the best devotee. Devotional service executed in this way is not pure. It is mixed and is the lowest grade, tamasaha. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur advises that a Vaishnava who is not of good character should be avoided. A Vaishnava is one who has taken the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the ultimate goal of life. But if one is not pure and still has motives, then he is not a Vaishnava of the first order of good character. One may offer his respects to such a Vaishnava because he has accepted the Supreme Lord as the ultimate goal of life. But one should not keep company with a Vaishnava who is in the mode of ignorance. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent, and angry, and who is a separatist, is considered to be in the mode of darkness. So, there was a question by Mother Devahuti about devotional service. Right. and how this devotional service illuminates the darkness in the heart of a conditioned living entity, and execution of this devotional service. So Lord Kapila answers that, and he answers very interestingly. O noble lady, there are multifarious paths of devotional service in terms of the different qualities of the executor. So devotional service means actually pure devotional service, right? But because the executor is influenced in the beginner stage, conditioned living entity is influenced by three modes, and based on the influence of the modes upon him, he executes devotional service with that kind of contamination. So tamasaha means in ignorance, tamasic, a person influenced by tamoguna. When he does devotional service, what are the contaminations in his devotional service? Devotional service executed by a person who is, first is envious, second is proud, third is violent and angry, fourth is angry, and fifth is who is a separatist, is considered to be in the mode of darkness. So these are the characteristics given. And if we see in 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, these are demoniac qualities. In the 16th chapter, 4th verse of Bhagavad Gita, Lord explains. 16th chapter is the divine and demoniac nature. And in that Lord explains arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demonic nature, O son of Pritha. So similar things we see here: arrogance, pride, conceit, harshness, ignorance, anger. And the first line of purport. Anybody remembers the first line of this purport? In this verse, the royal road to hell is described. If somebody wants to super fast go to hell, then what he should do? He should cultivate, or he should inculcate these: arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness and ignorance. Very quickly he'll go to hell. Right? Like we have expressway, express highway. Yes, this is express highway. It's Prabhupada is calling it royal road. Royal road means there are special roads, Rajmarg they are called, where only the king will travel. There will be no common traffic, no signal, no speed breakers. Only the king or king's family, king's entourage, they will travel. So it's a straight, plain, smooth, open, zero crowded way. So like that, very easily, very fastly, the king can travel on that. Same way, this is the royal road. So we think these are very simple things. They are looking very simple things: arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, ignorance. Right? And in day to day, we see this very common. It's not written somebody's murderous, he'll go to hell. Somebody's smuggler. Very common characteristics are written here, and they are royal road to hell. Now, how Srila Prabhupada explains each of these? And that is subject matter of today's verse. Arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness and ignorance. The demoniac want to make a show of religion and advancement in spiritual science, although they do not follow the principles. So they want to make a show of religion. Right? The first characteristic. That means they want to prominently come forward in every aspect and show what they are doing. Or when there is a gathering, they want to tell, I did like this, I did like that. Right? So they will always, even when we take classes, somebody wants to ask a question. The question will be very simple. But they'll tell, प्रभु जी मैं सुबह 3 बजे उठता हूँ, सर्दी का मौसम होता तो भी ठंडे पानी से स्नान करता हूँ, ठीक है, उसके बाद एकदम रेडी होके पहले मैं 8 माला करता हूँ, उसके बाद जैसे 4:30 होता है फिर मैं मंगला आरती का। अच्छा अब क्वेश्चन क्या है? नहीं प्रभु रुकिए, अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ, अभी और सुनाना बाकी है, ठीक है। लास्ट question will be what? Prabhuji, when we offer bhoga to Lord, we have to put separate tulsi on each item or one tulsi in the plate. What is the connection of this question with the whole story? No, there are 250 people listening, right? He wants to tell everybody what I do. And then Prabhuji, after Arati, after Abhishekam of the Lord, then I'll offer the plate. Now my question is, when we offer bhoga to the Lord, we have to put separate tulsi or one tulsi. So, what is his motive behind all these things? He wants to show, he wants to tell others what I am doing, right? So make a show of religion, make a show of his advancement. So immediately the punya he is acquiring is nullified, because it is filled with arrogance, is filled with pride, right? Then further Prabhupada explains very nicely, they are always arrogant or proud in possessing some type of education or so much wealth. Okay, majorly karmis, they're very very proud, and this their arrogance also is visible. How their arrogance is visible? Right? If something is not happening, say different people have different what's say gunas and karma also, and skill also, learning, understanding capacity is different. But when they see somebody is not up to their standard, very harshly, rudely, right, they'll point out mistakes, and then they'll boast of their learning and try to correct the other person. So very interestingly, in 16th chapter, when in this chapter itself, Lord is explaining divine qualities. In those divine qualities, there is one quality called as apassionam. Apassionam means disinterest in fault finding. Yeah. Apassionam means that one should not find fault with others or correct them unnecessarily. So unless you have been assigned this service, you are authorized to do this service, one should not go on poking nose everywhere and finding fault with everybody, everything, unless you have been assigned. Sometimes we see something very gross, we should go and report, right? Our duty is to go and report to the concerned authority. Correct? But I have taken the charge of, rectifying everything, or I've taken the charge of controlling everything or directing everything. So this is another aspect of arrogance. Now further Prabhupada says, apassionam, one should not find fault with others or correct them unnecessarily. Right? So very interestingly, it entails that one has to mind his own business. Correct? One has to mind his own business, and wherever there is some serious concern, he should go and report to authority, and he should look up to the reaction or response of the authority, how seriously this matter should be taken or not. No, Prabhuji, I reported to you this thing, you have not taken any action. But that's not a matter of concern only. Correct? Sometimes, say we do so many festival reviews. Sometimes we'll have that Abhishekam water being collected, it will spill, it comes. It's a part of the process, right? Oh, last year I reported in this festival, it didn't happen. And we get attached to that reporting, we get attached to that thing. Correct? So our duty, see, this is how we have to learn to express concern and stay detached or disconnected at the same time. We have to report to the concerned authority and leave the matter in their hands. Correct? And then, see, in modern world, even present karmi world also, if there is a dispute between two people, gentlemen means so sane people, logical people, right? They will go to court, they'll fight the case in the court and leave the matter or judgment to the court. And they have to accept what court decides. Right? In the same way, if first of all, it's not our duty, where it's not our duty to find fault with everything, we should withdraw. Where something is very grossly visible, something is very, damaging, visible, we should report to the concerned authority, bring it to their attention, and leave it to their judgment, leave it to their decision or solution of the problem. The next sentence says, of course, to call a thief is not fault finding, but to call an honest person a thief is very much offensive for one who is making advancement in spiritual life. So we have to just report and leave it. One should not judge and one should not spread it. Right? One should not judge and one should not spread it. Eventually, if it turns out that he was appearing like he has done a thief activity, but it was not, right? We get karma for that. We get karma for that. And it is, Prabhupada says, very much offensive for one who is making advancement in spiritual life. So, judging others, passing remarks on others, commenting on others is a sign of arrogance. Right? Who does this? One who thinks I am perfect. We have a quote put in ashram that when faults in others, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Maharaj quote is there. Right? That disturb us, then what we should do? We should look within us and look at the faults that are in us. Right? Actually, we have joined to correct our faults and go back to Godhead. Who joins? When somebody joins, why have you joined? If you interview some bhakta who has joined, why have you joined? I have joined to correct this mission, this movement. I have joined to rectify everybody. He is not getting up for sadhana. I have joined to make him get up. This system is not correct. I have joined. This dishwashing soap is not correct. I have joined to correct this. Nobody has joined for this. Everybody joined. I want to contribute to Prabhupada's mission and I want to go back to Godhead. So contribution means this is also contribution. No, you have to contribute what you have been authorized and assigned to contribute. Right? So that scope, correct, has to be very carefully understood. Then next point comes, Prabhupada explains in that Royal Road to Hell. They desire to be worshipped by others and demand respectability, although they do not command respect. Right? So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, first, a devotee never demands respect. Amanina manadena. He gives respect to others. Second, how commanding respect comes. Maryada palan ei Vaishnavera bhushan. A person, he becomes respectable. A person becomes respectable when he follows the Maryada. He becomes decorated by these qualities, he becomes respectable. There is a very interesting shloka in Garud Puran. It says, I just recall the translation. It says, even though a Brahmana may be as learned as Brahaspati, if he eats too much, if he is not dressed well, if he is arrogant, short-tempered in his behavior, he becomes an object of disrespect, even though he may be learned as Brahaspati. So if somebody is very short-tempered, gets angry, he is very harsh in talking, he is not well-dressed, not properly dressed, he eats too much, and somebody sees him eating too much, correct, he immediately loses the respect. So the respect, and those who are like this, of course, then they are in the mood of demanding respect. Correct? They demand respect from others. If they are not respected, then they feel offended, they fight, they quarrel. So we see these things are very common in karmi life. These things are very, very much visible, evidently visible in karmi dealings, everywhere. Right? We sometimes it is said, jokingly it is said, somebody becomes upset in a friend circle, office, or in family. देखो फूफा जी आ गए, ये रूठ जाते हैं बात बात पे, it's said like that. So because there are people who are known to be like that, right? They are known to be like that. So similar traits, similar nature that comes in devotional life in amongst devotees is very damaging to bhakti. It's a royal road to hell actually. Then next is over trifles. They become angry and speak harshly, not gently. No, something trifle means very short this thing matter, very short friction comes. Thoda bahut idhar ho gaya. So what do? They become very angry and speak harshly, not gently. Right? So this anger, once Chanchalapati Prabhu said in his class, anger means intellectual laziness. What is anger? How he defined anger as intellectual laziness. What does it mean? Anger means intellectual laziness. There is some matter which has gone wrong. Okay. Now, first one has to not to come in an outburst of anger. Oh, suddenly he has outbursted in anger and shouted and finish. No, wait. Intellectual laziness means this matter can be dealt with, resolved, corrected, or whatever measures have to be taken in a gentle way also. But you don't engage your brain in finding a gentle solution. You engage your brain, not engage only with your brain, whatever modes are outbursting, the impulse of the modes is there, impulsively you just start shouting, right, and speak harshly. So first thing is intellectual effort is how seeing the person, seeing the quality of the person, nature of the person, understanding of that person, one has to figure out how this matter can be told or conveyed or how that correction can be made. So Prabhupada says very interesting, there is a statement in some conversation. Prabhupada says, gentleman means, Prabhupada gives a definition of gentleman. Gentleman means once you tell him and he'll follow. You don't have to tell him twice. Correct? That's called gentleman. You tell him don't do like this, next time he'll follow. You tell him do like this, next time immediately he'll start following. You don't have to tell him again and again. See, I told you, Haribol, why you are not following like this? Correct? So that's not a gentleman. So Prabhupada very nicely, very interesting point he brings out in a gentleman is you tell him once and he'll follow. Right. So intellectual laziness means not trying to understand or figure out how this can be very properly told, nicely told, or the opposite person is capable of understanding it politely also, gently also. Still resorting to a harsh means, very angry means, rough means. So that is another aspect. That is anger is covered in that. Then they do not know what should be done and what should not be done. Yeah. So this is also elaborately explained in today's purport. That what should be done, what should not be done comes from Guru, a bona fide spiritual master. So Prabhupada says here, in the conditioned stage, when one engages in devotional service, he should follow the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master in full surrender. The spiritual master is the manifested representation of the Supreme Lord because he receives and presents the instructions of the Lord as they are by disciplic succession. Right? It is described in Bhagavad Gita that the teachings therein should be received by disciplic succession, otherwise there is adulteration. Right? So this adulteration we see in our devotional service also. Prabhupada has given so many instructions, very clear, stark instructions. Yes, these are the instructions we should follow. And most of them, all of them are written. Prabhupada says, whatever you need to learn are there in my teachings, in my books. Correct? If you see Prabhupada's letters, if you see Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada's lectures, you get so many clear, direct instructions. And one of those is very famous letter, most popular letter of Prabhupada. It goes global. Most searched for, most read letter of Prabhupada is July 9th letter. Clear instructions are there. Right? But not following the bona fide spiritual master. So once you disfollow, once you disobey the order of a spiritual master, the first principle of spiritual master given by that is you have to be an obedient disciple. Once you start disobeying, then you do so many whimsical things. Now, as a result of that, so many things have happened. Right? When we sing this Tulsi prayer, Tulsi Devi prayer during Mangalarati, that mantra what Prabhupada has written and given, Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatya Namo Nama. Now that is being converted. If you see other books in ISKCON, they are like Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi. So why they have put it Krishna Bhakti? Because we don't want Vishnu Bhakti, we want Krishna Bhakti. So this even Prabhupada knew. But mantra has come from the Shastra. Mantra prayers have come from the Acharyas, bona fide Acharyas. Now here is a statement, we have to accept it in disciplic succession. Even though it may appear more ecstatic, more devotional by putting Krishna name, but it is not following the parampara. Right? One has to follow that. One has to obey that. Prabhupada gave Arati procedures in a certain way. Right? They changed it. Prabhupada gave Ekadashi fast, Dwadashi, fast breaking of Ekadashi on Dwadashi, particular timing. They changed it. Right? They added their own words in Tulsi Maharani song we sing morning, Namo Nama. They added their own words in that. So many places. Right? This is explained here as separatist. In this, and who is a separatist? Bhinnadrik bhavam. What is that Bhinnadrik bhavam? One has to go by the authority. One has to go by the authorized system. During Prabhupada's presence itself, they started introducing so many new things. And Prabhupada says, this is a disease of you Western people. Kichu nutan karibe. You want to do something new. You don't want to follow the parampara. So stop all this. Right? They made changes in books. So many changes. Thousands of changes actually. If you take all the books together, thousands of changes are there. So they want to do something, not follow the parampara, but their own. This is called separatist mentality. What Guru has given. And so many, in ISKCON itself, they started so many other rituals, other processes which Prabhupada has not given. Right? So same way, when we follow our devotional service, one separatist means what the whole movement is doing, you want to do something different. Everybody singing in one tune, you sing in another tune. Right? With confidence. Right? Everybody's doing one thing, you want to do another thing. Everybody's preaching in one mood, you want to do something tangent to it. So many things. Right? So the whole thing is separatist means he wants to do something independently, whimsically, on his own. And here in this verse it is called as tamasaha. And here in this word it is called as sampada aswarim. So what has been, there may be some things where there are so many managerial issues, managerial matters, where it is left to the discretion of the authorities to decide. Prabhupada says temple president is my representative, he can decide. Right? But when there are spiritual matters and when somebody meddles with those, interferes with those and tries to introduce or modify, alter, what Guru has given, which is coming in parampara, then it's called tamasa buddhi. It's a separatist mentality. And here it is called sampadam aswarim. They do not know what to do, what not to do. Because what has to be done is clearly given by Guru, who is coming in a bona fide disciple succession. What has to be not done is also prohibited by the Guru. Right? So things are very clear, very simple. But when such kind of introductions, independent nature, independent behavior comes, then it is tamasa buddhi. So here it is written, Mai kuryat sa tamasa. So we have to be very careful. Anything fancy, anything new, anything, very, very hatke, something out of the league, somebody wants to do. We can say times are changing, zamana badal raha hai, we have to. Yes, we have to. So many things we have to introduce new, so many things we have to do this. But for that, there is a system of taking approval. We take approval from temple president. Temple president take approval from the GBC body. GBC body is a body of experienced, learned, who have dwelled in Prabhupada's teachings, who have practiced them for decades and decades. It's not one person listen, it's a body. They sit together. They refer to Prabhupada's instructions on those. They refer to what new thing has been introduced. How much is it in alignment with Srila Prabhupada's instructions? How much it is deviating with Srila Prabhupada from Prabhupada's instructions? Then, if it is safe, it's not violating any principles, then they give approval. Then it comes to temple president approves us. We should be ready to accept that yes, what I was about to do was wrong, or it would have deviated me, I have been saved. Okay, what I was about to do is approved now, I can do it. Right? So our protection lies in this obedience, in following the parampara. Right? So we are protected. Our protection is, our devotional service is not in what we do fancifully or something new or modern. It is totally in what we are doing is authorized and assigned, approved or not. Because Krishna says, under my sanrakshan, under my protection, one should do devotional service. That protection comes through obedience. not through innovations, right? And our spiritual life depends on our protection, right? How much we are spiritually protected. Daivim Prakriti Ashrita. This is the way we go to Daivim Prakriti Ashrita. We take the shelter of the internal potency of the Lord by approval. Okay. So this is about separatist, which has come in this verse. So they want to do something fanciful, something they want to add, introduce, reduce, change, modify. There had been instances where some, although not authorized to be guru, they became guru and said, okay, you chant 4 mala and you'll go back to Godhead. So presenting their own ideas, their own whims. So many places, if you see, they have made so many changes, so many alterations, not conforming to the systems given by Prabhupada, the rules given by Prabhupada. So we should be careful in our at individual level, whatever we are doing. Prabhuji, मुझे आज एक fancy idea है ऐसा करने का. First go and take approval from temple commander or from temple president. If they are also not sure whether this can be done or not, they'll escalate it to GBC. GBC will decide and say, okay, it is safe. No, it is not safe. Don't do this. Right? Then we should not be attached to that. Right? There is a movement going on. We have come here to contribute to the going on movement. Right? In what way we can enhance this contribution, it's not up to us to decide. It is up to those who are carrying this movement with instructions. We pray that to uphold the legacy, sacred legacy. What is that legacy? That legacy is the purity that is given by Prabhupada in his instructions. That protection Prabhupada has given in his instructions. This movement has to go on for 10,000 years. If every 1 year or every one generation, one person comes and adds something new, changes something, and these change things go on to pass on to the next generation. After 10,000 years, there are two devotees who have to survive on these instructions of Prabhupada. Right? Kali Yuga will be more harsh that time, and these instructions of Prabhupada will protect them. If these are not given forward generation after generation in the pure way, in absolute way as Prabhupada has given, how they'll be protected? They'll be so much misguided, and that karma, that this thing will come on us, blame will come on us. So that's why our duty is to leave the judgment. We can present ideas, we can do something, we can wish to do something, but we should leave the judgment to the authorities who know the pros and cons, who have dwelt, who have lived in Prabhupada's instructions decades and decades, and who have upheld this whole institution in that way. Right? This is the only institution. Now we have got this ISKCON Bangalore group where we can, preserve Prabhupada's teachings purely and pass them on to the next generation in proper spirit, proper verbatim, word to word, in proper mood, proper practicality. Right? So that's a big responsibility upon us. So the separatist is actually separatist is not just some आज कुछ ऐसा कर लिया, कुछ वैसा कर लिया. It's not that easy going. Here it's told tamsaha, and here it is told the royal road to hell. Of course, devotees will not go to hell that way, but that damage to one's own devotional service and those who are seeing and following us, the damage to their devotional service also. Right? Then one more last point comes. They do everything whimsically according to their own desire, and they do not recognize any authority. These demoniac qualities are taken on by them from the beginning of their bodies in the wombs of their mothers. As they grow, they manifest all these inauspicious qualities. Right? So, coming to the present verse, devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent, and angry, and who is a separatist is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. So we may see such things in devotees. But see, if we carefully read Prabhupada's instructions, the instructions given by previous acharyas, right, they also recognize all the acharyas are Uttamadhikari Mahabhagavatas. What is the mood of an Uttamadhikari Mahabhagavata? That they do not discriminate between living entities. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini. So Brahmana, Chandala, cow, dog, everything they see Samadarshina. They see Paramatma in everybody's heart. But when they are instructing as acharyas, they teach us how to discriminate. Right? Who is Supreme Lord? How to deal with Supreme Lord? We have to surrender and love the Supreme Lord. Then devotees are there, devotees of the Lord. So we have to make friendship with the devotees. Correct. Then there are innocent people. We have to be compassionate, guide them, help them in their devotion service. Then there are envious people who are against bhakti, who are against the Lord, against the devotees. So very nicely, they have told. They are not told criticize them, harass them, bully them, poke them. No, just disconnect. Upeksha, ignore them. Upeksha means to ignore. So same way, when we see these things, have any instructions telling like this, you criticize them, go and gossip again about them to others? No, just ignore them. So same way, one may offer. See, a Vaishnava is one who has taken the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the ultimate goal of life. But if one is not pure and still has motives, then he is not a Vaishnava of the first order of good character. One may offer his respects to such a Vaishnava because he has accepted the Supreme Lord as the ultimate goal of life. But one should not keep company with a Vaishnava who is in the mode of ignorance. Exactly this is given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Prabhupada says, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur advises, a Vaishnava who is not of good character should be avoided. Same thing Srila Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Instruction. One who is chanting, but he is a Kanishta having these kind of problems, issues, one should respect in mind. Okay, just because he is chanting, he should be respected as a devotee. One who has taken initiation, one should offer physical obeisances to him. For one who is chanting and Kanishta one should respect in mind. Man mein respect karna. So respecting in mind means not criticizing him, not creating offenses in the mind, physical, mental, verbal offenses in mind, right? Not backbiting him with others, right? Not thinking ill, not being envious of him. Just respect in mind and let him be. Don't associate. Right? Somebody who is initiated is still advancing, you can respect physically, offer physical obeisances. Somebody who is advanced, who is following the principles of devotional service meticulously, diligently, he is worthy to be associated with. One should take association of him. One should take his guidance. One should take his blessings and progress in devotional service. So nowhere, even if somebody in devotional life is not practicing, nowhere it is said that you should be envious of him, correct? Or you should criticize him, backbite him, offend him. So acharyas, they have guided even in such adverse situations also how one can live offenselessly. So one point was that one should not be envious here. A person who is envious, how envy comes? Envy comes by comparison. When we compare with others, and generally envy comes in two aspects. One is when you do material comparison. Oh, he has got this facility, why I have not got this facility? Immediately envy starts. Correct? His good things you'll ignore. Whatever good things, good service one devotee is doing, you'll ignore. That will not come to our observation, and will not get inspiration from that, will not get lessons from that, will not learn from that, and will not even get a mood to serve that devotee in that aspect. Oh, he's serving so nicely, let me help him whatever I can. Envy kills all these things. Second is we start hating that devotee and we become offensive towards that devotee. Right? We become offensive towards that devotee by criticizing him in mind and with others. And sometimes chidranveshan, fault finding happens. Even if there is no fault, we'll always look for fault. Right? We will always look for fault. And if there is a small fault, we'll blow it up and tell. And first is we are contaminated by envy. I don't like somebody, I'm envious of him. I don't like. That doesn't mean that person is wrong or is dislikable. I don't like. And because I am envious due to his advancement. Okay. Fault isn't me only. Envy means only we are faulty. And what is the root cause? We compare. Okay. When we compare, envy means worst non-Krishna conscious activity. Because if he is materially opulent, he is materially advanced, it is by Lord's mercy. My worshipable Lord has granted him benediction, and I am not ready to accept that why my Lord has given him that benediction. If he is spiritually advanced, Krishna has blessed him. If he is materially advanced, Krishna has blessed him. We are not seeing Krishna's blessings. Oh, my Lord has blessed him means he must be so dear to Lord. If somebody is so dear to Lord, I should serve him. Envy is totally opposite. It is totally non-Krishna conscious. It is anti-Krishna conscious. Why Krishna has given him this opulence? Why Krishna has given him that blessing? I am not feeling good. I am feeling jealous. I am burning from inside. Means actually when we are envious of a living entity, we are envious of Krishna, Krishna's mercy upon him, and we are totally non-Krishna conscious. We are anti-Krishna that time. So envy is very, very wrong. This thing. You have to accept it, even if it's karmi. Oh, Krishna is giving so much to karmis, and we are struggling. So Krishna, it's without Lord's sanction, one blade of grass also cannot move. Upanishad say that. Tene vina trinam api na chalati. One trina also cannot move without Lord's mercy, without Lord's sanction. So how somebody can be so opulent? Somebody can be so advanced in spiritual life or material life? That is by Lord's mercy, Lord's permission, Lord's sanction. If I am servant of Krishna, I have to accept Lord's sanction. No, he is not deserving person, still he is God. Who are we to just judge whether he is deserving or not? Right? We are not Lord. Krishna is Supreme Lord. We are not Supreme Lord. Let my Lord decide he is deserving or not. Let my Lord give him whether he is deserving or not. My job is to serve the Lord. And how I am supposed to deal with everybody, that I have to learn from Lord and deal. This is our job. So when we step out of our boundary, get into becoming another Lord, I will decide whether he should get or not. Right? This is envy. So envy, Prabhupada explains the definition. Somebody deserves something. Prabhupada explains in context to Duryodhana and Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj was deserving the kingdom of Hastinapur. Duryodhana didn't want him to take. Deliberately didn't want him to take. He wanted to usurp that and enjoy. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is deserving. Lord has decided Yudhishthira Maharaj deserves. He should be, established as a king there. Duryodhana is not wanting. Right? So same way, Lord decides who should get what, who should advance how much, who should be blessed by whatever material aspects also. So when we are challenging, we are questioning, we are doubting, we are faithless in Lord's decision, Lord's conclusion, then envy comes. It is very, very damaging. Right? Immediately Hathi Mata happens. Right? Mad elephant syndrome happens and it destroys our Bhakti Lata. So one should be careful about these. So even if somebody is not worth associating with, one should be staying away, and one should be in a mood. Okay, you don't want to serve somebody, at least don't criticize, don't be envious. If envy is there, what is the best way to solve envy? There is only one way to solve to overcome the feeling of envy. There is only one solution. There is no other solution. By taking resolutions, today onwards I am resolving that I will not become envious of this person. It doesn't work. It never works. It cannot work, because the only way to overcome envy is to serve. You serve that person whom you are envious of, you will overcome envy. This is the principle of devotional service. We say we came from Goloka to material world because we are envious of Krishna. How are we removing that envy? By devotional service. By serving Krishna day in, day out under the instruction of the spiritual master. Service is the only way by which we can eradicate that envy. Same applies to the Lord. When we are dealing with Lord, we are serving. By devotional service, our heart becomes purified. Correct? And the envy towards the Lord, like people, why I should do for Krishna? Right? But when devotee, yes, we should do it only for Krishna, for nobody else. The difference you see? Yes, by serving, that envy goes away. One surrenders to the Supreme Lord. In the same way, when somebody is envious towards other living entities, we should serve that person. Right? You are hateful towards some devotee, you should serve that devotee. Even if heart is not willing, push yourself to serve that devotee in some way or the other. Right? Envy will go away. Otherwise, no, today onwards, today onwards I will not be envious. Maya doesn't allow. Okay, envy comes from Maya. You cannot take a Maya resolution to solve Maya. You have to take a Krishna resolution to solve Maya. Krishna resolution is to serve. Service, transcendental loving devotional service. Whether to the Lord or even to the Vaishnavas, if we do loving devotional service. Loving service, not devotional service. Right? There is a devotion towards devotees also, that they are serving Krishna, they are serving Prabhupada, so let me be of some help to them. So that kind of devotion or that kind of submissive mood is there. With this mood, when we do, then only we can overcome envy. So these are the aspects of tamasa bhakti, tamasa bhava in bhakti, which we can observe in ourselves and we can overcome. We'll stop here. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.